All right, I'm playing some Tour 7 here. Just working on my club card. So if you've got Tour 7s where you can get access to every club card in the game. So this is my rookie account. I haven't played any higher than Tour 7 here. It's been grinding it out. Now this hole right here in tournament play, how we play this hole in tournaments versus how we play this hole in one-on-one. In tournament play, I'm typically trying to land right here and go over. Now, there used to be a shot off this island with a big topper, but something's changed in the dynamic out there, and that shot's not as consistent as it used to be. It was still, you had to hit it perfect because the big topper blows with accuracy, but um, if you hit it perfect, you could get up there, but for some reason, that shot's playing different. So I switched to the other side and bringing out a big power ball. But in one-on-one play, I play this hole totally different. I let my opponents fail, and what I do is I do a layup shot right here. So I'm not interested in getting out there and trying to press the issue here. I'm going to lay it up right out there. 5-5, 100% accurate club, so we're about 5.5 ranks. And I'm just going to lay it up there, and what this will give me is a sniper shot, a straight-in sniper shot right to the cup. And every time you're going to be right out here in this area, you're going to take a sniper shot to the cup, and you have a really good look at it with your sniper as far as like picking up and getting the eagle on this hole. But the deal is, I see a lot of people come here and they fail. They put themselves in a bad spot. They either end up in the sand or they end up directly behind the trees. They should be able to get between the trees pretty easily there if they make a good wind adjustment. But this is one of those holes that I like to let my opponent come out and fail. They didn't adjust for wind at all right there. So the wind's going to push them to the right. If they hit this to the right, they take a chance of hitting that. Luckily, they caught the left. And this is one of those holes you will go to a shootout a lot, but I see a lot of people epic fail on this hole trying to play it like they would in a tournament. And I play this hole totally different one-on-one. The goal is to let your opponent make their epic fail. Where am I at in my club? There's Min or Max. Right at it. 9 mile, 9.5. Do a full wind adjustment, even though I'm more in mid club. So there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do a full wind adjustment. In worst case scenario, I'll be a little long right there. And when I hit it 70 rings great to the left, that doesn't help. In most cases here, this is exactly what happens to me on this hole. I come out here, I do that layup, I get on the green, make a putt, get my birdie, and move on. But it's amazing how many times I win this hole because my opponent came out and tried to go for it, tried to act like it was a tournament, didn't bring out a 5 power ball. We didn't have the optimal wind, and they ended up killing themselves. But this hole is definitely a hole when you get to it that you got to think, okay, we're typically going to be going to a shootout. And if you do come to this hole and your opponent goes first and they make an epic fail, I'm telling you, that layup shot right there, you're good to go. Why go out there and try and do the same spectacular shot that your opponent just failed on when you can go out there and guarantee yourself a birdie and move on? Anytime you're playing one-on-one and you're playing to open up chess, I'm playing to open up chess because I'm trying to get my club cards better. My clan has no requirements as far as grinding it out and playing, having some minimum thing that we're looking for points. And so the whole deal is the less games I can play, to get 4 gold chests every day. Put the hammer down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 4. Hit it one ring great to the left. So roll up there, put a little pressure on my opponent. If your opponent opens the door, you need to slam that sucker on them. I was here the other day and my opponent clipped the rough or the sand, and they were in the sand about right here. And I drove it right into the sand in front of them up here at the front. And why take the risk of miscalculating it and rolling off the back of the green? And they were 19 yards away, and I end up, and I guarantee you, if you played this game for any length of time, your opponent's gone out there and epic failed and 21 yards away, and you're like, oh, I got this, no problem. And then you do the shot, you do the risky shot that they were trying to do, and then the next thing you know, you're 25 and you lose to them. If your opponent makes an epic fail, if they are close, you're gonna have to get aggressive. But if they mess up, slam the hammer down. My opponent ends up in the water on a drive, I'm basically going to chip my drive 3 feet in front of me and take my win and move on. If they think it's cheesy, then hey, dude, you should have hit a better shot. I play one-on-ones to win, to get chess, so that I can get more club cards. I do not play it to give my opponents an opportunity to get back into the game. So I'm going to play at least 4 here and see if I get that pin chest. Trying to move my pin chest along. And when we get into the opening round, I've got Oregon Ducks. I'm an Oregon Duck fan. If you live in Oregon, you're really either a Beaver fan or a Duck fan. I root for any Oregon team unless they're playing against each other. If they're playing against each other, I'm a Duck. If they're playing against anybody else, I'm a Duck. I really like the Oregon Beavers. It's got a great baseball program. Since we only have a couple teams here in this state, you gotta always root for the Oregon team. I've seen a lot of Oregon Duck clans, but I haven't seen very many. I don't know if I've seen any Oregon Beaver clans. So this is another one of those shots that in tournaments, how I play this, I'm super aggressive. There is a max overpower hook shot that you can do on this to try and get way up there. But in regular one-on-one play, I do a layup right in the middle. Now you can get on from there if you've got upper developed stuff. Should have played this hole when it first came out. When it first came out, this second cut of the rough out here was out of bounds. And you could easily find yourself out of bounds trying to go around that corner. And there was trees all the way up to that area. This hole has a totally different look now. Isn't it perfect? Just laying it up out there in the middle. That's the goal. I see a lot of people, they try and play one-on-one like they play in tournaments. In tournaments, we know which way the wind's going. We can pick the right clubs. We can pick the right ball. We have options during the tournament play that we don't have in one-on-one. So in one-on-one, doing some of these layup shots, I can get into that spot where I'm at right now every single time I come to this hole. Very little risk. Gives me a nice little sniper into the hole, and I can come to this hole and get my eagle almost every single time. But I see a lot of my opponents trying to go for it to get around that corner and end up in this rough and not able to get up there. And I always like to let my opponents beat themselves. Put a little backspin on. You do have a great Albie shot on this hole. This is a very Albieable hole. 3-3. Just trying to hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. See if I can pick up the Albie. But at this point, it doesn't matter. My opponent's already done the damage to their round. Almost in the hole. But that layup shot with that sniper shot is absolutely, even if you've got a big headwind right there, you can pull back with that sniper. It's got lots of topspin, and you can run that ball up in there. And it's not that my opponent can't make this, and you never, that's one of the things in golf classes, you never want to count your coins until they flash up the screen that you're a winner, because people can make these shots. But my opponent did not do themselves any favors. I never can figure it out when people are eyeballing their wind adjustments like that. They never really saw, like, what will it look like when it's at the hole, and then make a wind adjustment. Good game. That's the goal. Come out here and slam the door on them. I'm not interested in letting my opponent get back into it. If your opponent makes a mistake, don't feel like you have to do some spectacular shot to match up with your opponent to show them that you could do it. Do the layup, get up there, get your score, move on. See if they'll rematch. Off we go. They want that back. Santa Ventura. It's funny, as I played these Santa Ventura holes, I don't know how many times, I don't remember any hole until we actually get to the hole. So I see it. Okay, we're gonna do max side spin, and we only need a couple top spin. 2.5, not much. Starting off in the middle here, taking out 7 winds, 2, 4, 6, 7, so it's about 3.5 rings. I'm gonna put a little bit of the power back into it just so that I can clip that rough out there. Some curl. Hitting that 1 ring great to the right. See if I put enough power so I can clear it. Yes. Just rolling it up there to the front. Using the wind to my advantage so I don't have to do any overpower. I don't have a problem with overpower. Sometimes you got to do overpower. It's just the way it works in this game, depending on the wind. But anytime that you can use the wind to get the job done and you don't have to do overpower, it's always better. My opponent's got a katana, so they don't have to use the wind. They can catch that spot. It does not take max overpower, or max topspin. So if they keep that on there, even if they take the wind out, they're going to end up in the rough. And the direction that they're going right there, if they put curl on it, they're gonna definitely end up in the rough. And they're putting overpower on it, so I'm assuming they're trying to drive the green. They may blow through the rough up there in the front and end up in the sand, but they're definitely going to hit the rough. And they got super lucky they hit that little spot. Usually if you're up there, that's not good. Yeah, there's minimum club. And there's max. So I'm right at mid club. So mid club is 1.9 per ring. Just a little titch of backspin on it. Moving it up towards the hole. 4-4. 1.9 per ring. So there's a 3-8. That leaves me 6. It's about a third. I'm going to do 2 1/3 rings. See if we can catch a perfect. Hitting it perfect. Give myself a look at it. In the hole. This is a very eagleable hole. That's why when you come to this hole and you do what my opponent did, they got lucky they're still in the fairway here. But the deal is if you lay yourself up there in front, you have a serious shot at eagle every time you come here. And so I always like it when I see people come here and they do that overpower and they do that stuff. I know it doesn't, it only takes like 2.5, 3 topspin. And you can end up out there in the front and have a really good, typically mid short iron shot to pick up the eagle. Good game. All right, we'll see if they want to replay one more time. Not a chance. All right, let's see here. I think I need to open up some chests. Trying to get, usually when I'm playing this, I got one more on my pin chest. Usually if I'm playing on days that I'm playing, I'm really looking for, how many minutes we played? All right, we got about 15 minutes left. Just shooting some short 30-minute videos. I know Tour 7 is a great tour to work on your club cards, especially if you've got a few club cards that are maxed out now and you're doing the trading. If you open up if you're working towards 4 gold chests a day, that means you opened up 12 silvers. And if you're in Tour 7, 12 silvers and those 4 golds every day, you'll get more club cards than you would need to trade in. So that means that you're going to perpetually be able to use the prism chest. Okay, so to get up into the area I need at least 4 wind. So I'm going to take out 5 wind. And that's going to push me up into this area a little bit more, but I've got room up there, and then that'll let me room to put my curl in. I hit it great to the left. Let's see if that backspin will stop me. Stop. It takes about 2.5 backspin there. You gotta have enough to get over to the other side, but not so much that when you get to the other side, it just blows out. So there's a really fine line on this hole. If we're playing in tournaments here, I would bring a bigger ball and I would do the rough bump in this area right here. If I was playing from the back tees. If you're playing from the rookie tees, you can hit just about where my opponent's at. You can bring a QB and a Kingmaker and you can go right at it. Give yourself a great look at hole-in-one. They're using a special ball and not getting it done with the special ball. Come on, Daisy girl. Right. We have the opportunity to slam the door on our opponent, so let's put the hammer down. We don't need that much topspin. That's because of the contour on this course. I don't like that wind. Hitting it perfect. Rolling into the cup. Walking around my house. Playing and walking at the same time. Playing, walking, talking. Now, if I could just chew gum at the same time, then I'd be perfect. But I'm just a guy, so come on. I can't do more than 2 things at a time. Get in the hole. Good game. I never wish bad things on my opponent, but, if they're going to, I'm not opposed to having my opponent make their own epic fails. All right, that was first gold chest of the day. Let's see if we have another pin chest behind this one. I don't think so. We do. So let's play a couple more. Get a few of those knocked out. get another one rolling. I always like to have at least a couple spots, so if you do catch somebody wanting to do a replay, you're not out there winning with no open slots. You don't get a chest if you don't have an open slot. Santa Ventura. It is really funny that I absolutely don't remember these holes until we're on them. Like, somebody will go, "Oh yeah, when you're on this, when you're on this course in that hole," and it's like, I have no idea. Show me a picture of it. That's why I use Golf Clash Notebook, and I love that site because I really don't remember any hole until I get to it. But I played these holes for so long since they came out. When the game first started, they had holes, but a lot of these courses, like Santa Ventura, didn't have a full 9-hole set. Opponent is using the cab ball. I'm going to use my number 3 bag. Getting up into this area as far as I can. Max of everything on it. I want to be about 3 rings off the transitional surface. We're at a 2-mile-an-hour wind, so I'm going to take 2 miles an hour of wind out. Got maximum curl and just a little teeny bit of overpower. Not enough to make it go any faster, but some overpower on it. Get me up into the same spot my opponent was at. You have a lot of room down in there, especially when you're in those types of shots, setting those types of shots up. You always want to make sure that you're max curl. If you, in those types of shots, curl is what's going to get you around the corner. And I see a lot of people, they come into those shots and they put on half curl or they're trying to finesse it. If you're in one of those shots, put on max curl. The goal here is to just get on so you get a putt. This is a absolutely tough hole to get an Albie on. No matter which way you come at it, it's a tough hole to get an Albie on. So getting up here and setting yourself up so you have a putt is the goal. And my opponent has an advantage because they've got a better ball than me. So I'm going to have to work a little harder to get up there. And I'm coming at it from this side right here. I'm going to put just a little bit of backspin on it. It's 3-6. I'm going to be in power the whole way. So I'm about 3 rings into power. So I'm going to put some curl on it to bring it back over to the green, and then I'm going to have to put some power on it to get it back up there. Hitting it 1 ring great to the right, or excuse me, left. The whole goal is to just get on the green so I can make my putt. I find on this hole right here, about half the time my opponent epic fails and they don't even get up here to make the putt, and I just win it outright. But if your opponent's up there like that, the goal is that don't press the issue. Just limp onto the green so that you can make a putt and move on. They were undecided. Hitting it perfect. In the hole. Get your eagle and move on to the next hole. Go to the shootout. The thing about this hole is that it's 2 distinct shots. So if you come here and you do epic fail on the drive, don't freak out too much about it because you still have to do the second shot. The second shot's still a difficult shot in its own right. So if you hit the drive right, you still have a difficult second shot. So if you do make an error on that drive, don't Don't panic. Just put yourself in a good spot. See what your opponent does. But I usually don't try and get too greedy on that hole and actually going for, trying to set myself up for some Alvy shot, because there's a it doesn't matter where you get your ball out there. You got a super difficult Alvy shot. This is not a hole that likes to give it up very much. This is probably the best hole in this game for a hole-in-one shot. 5-1. Just a titch over 5 rings. Trying to catch it perfect. Hitting it perfect. That should be very close to the hole. Put some pressure on my opponent. This hole right here is not that old of a hole. It's actually a relatively new hole, last year or so. But I've hit, it is, in my opinion, the easiest hole in this game to get a hole-in-one on. I think the first time we had this in a tournament, I hit 3 or 4 hole-in-ones that tournament. It was a lot. And most people I see come on this hole, they hit it from this side over here. And what happens is that you're hitting it on this uphill slope. And so look at how high it is from the first bounce to the second bounce, how high that ball goes. So that means on the other side, it's going to come to a stop relatively quickly. And if you hit it further up on the hill, it's going to make even a higher bounce. So I don't normally like to engage those hills on the uphill side. I like to engage them on the downhill side, because the second bounce, it digs in and it comes to a stop relatively quickly. See if they'll rematch. Maybe. How much time we got here? We got enough for one more hole. Come on, rematch. No. All right. I've got one slot open, so I'm going to go ahead and just play for that one slot. We'll play one more. We'll call this bonus content. Off to hole number 7, or tour 7. See what hole we can get. Roger 77. This hole has a max overpower hook shot on it that you can do in a tournament that will get you out up in here so that you can come at this with a long iron. Gives you a pretty good shot of getting it in. From this side over here, the goal is to get up into those shadows. So I'm going to take 6, 6 off. So there's 5, 6, and some. I'm going to put on max curl. Hitting it perfect. Try and dig myself up to the shadows. Right down the center of the fairway. Excellent shot. This is the safe way to come at this hole. You can go straight forward and you can bounce off of this little island right here, but you can find yourself in a little bit of trouble if you're trying to go straight forward and bounce off that island. You have a good shot at it, but if you're having any problems on this hole, and you don't like the max overpower shot, and there is a little setup on that max overpower shot to get out here. You can take the shot to the right, and it's a straightforward sniper shot to get up there to the hole. My opponent has laid themselves up nicely, so they can either engage, depending on the club. You've got 3 different options down here. You can drive the green and use backspin. You can bounce off that island, or you can do a rough bump. And any of those shots will work. Depending on the wind, that rough bump is a viable shot, but it does depend on the wind. Three, 8. I'm going to do a 10% pull, so I'm going to make that 4-2. It seems like I'm a little downhill here. Yeah, maybe it's flat. Hitting it perfect. I know I was here the other day and I hit a grate and it went in. I'm not sure on which side it was. So you have a really good look at it from over there. So I know a lot of people are like, hey, like, why are you going over there? But when you get over there, if you've got a sniper, you got ball guide, you got a really good straight in shot at it. And here, depending on how the wind's blowing, it's going to, and what club you have in your bag, you could find yourself in a little bit of trouble down here. If you've got a pure side wind here, that rough bump down there is a great shot, though. Got a really good look at it with the rough bump. Make our putts and go to a shootout. You can see how much higher the tee boxes were right there. You go back and rewind that just a little bit, you can see how high the tee boxes are. So when you're doing the drive shot, you're definitely way uphill. Opponent get their putt and force a shootout. See what hole we get in the shootout. Some of these holes I remember playing, and some of them I'm having to remember how to set up the shot in Tour 7. This one here is definitely downhill, and I'm going to do about a 30% over pull. Here's a rough. Okay, so we're going to do 8. There's 5. There's 6, 7, 8. And we're going to do 1, 6. And I'm just going to do a 20% pull. I'll probably regret that later, but that'll be all right. Hitting it great to the left. Here it's all about speed. I see if I can stop by the hole or blow by it. Still trying to get my speed worked out on this hole. I definitely wish that I would have done the 30% after this. My teammates wants to play. I always like to play my teammates because you can go out there when I'm playing my teammates. You can go out there and you can. Monday 0. Get crazy practicing shots. I can try stuff in one-on-one when I'm playing. When I'm playing friendlies, I can do stuff against my teammates that I may not be willing to do just out there when I'm playing one-on-one, trying to get chests. Game. Good luck. All right. That was a little bit of 30 minutes of Tour 7, just to for those of you that are trying to get better club cards, better chests, and give you an idea. And thanks for watching.